and thanks for tuning in to Crystal Carmen Live. You guys know that I'm always here talking about relationships and how to do them better, relationships while being an entrepreneur, and of course, femininity and gender roles within the construct of a relationship. Anyway, today I have the tea. I am like, the tea is hot. When I say hot, I mean scalding hot. I have a young lady who's coming onto the show. Her name is Anna. She has a crazy story of dating online, finding love, and the story just goes crazy. And it all started with this guy on Bumble. So before I even begin going down the path of telling you this story, let me go ahead and bring Anna on with us.
Hi.
Hi. How are you today, Anna?
I've been better, that's for sure.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Um, yeah, and thank you so much because I know that after experiencing something like this, which is traumatic and hurtful, I'm thank you for even having the courage to really come on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, of course. So when I heard your story, I was completely moved because it I mean, you don't really hear about this happening to like your friend or someone you know or like you're affiliated with, right? It's always like a Lifetime movie network thing.
Yeah. I thought the same
And
exact thing. Like, how is this even happening in real life?
right. So, that being said, I mean, let's just talk about it. Spill the tea. Tell me what happened. Tell me the good parts. Tell me what happened. Tell me the story. So you're
Okay, so I
online
meet
dating. You're looking for.
this guy. I
Mhm.
was single
Where do you meet him?
for 2 years. Okay, so I was single for 2 years. Oh,
Hmm.
we're talking, we're staying up all night long on FaceTime. We're just having like the best. Then it gets to the point where I feel like I'm in love over the phone. He feels the same way. So we're like, we have to meet. Meet in real life. All the sparks are perfect. The ideal person I've been looking for, like my dream man. So we basically lost 10 months together through all the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Once New Year's rolled around, he turned his Life 360 location, the app that he suggested we have as a family, even with his son. So I just started digging and found out he was living a double life. Nothing about him was true at all. The only thing that I really knew about him was his name was a lie, and he scammed the women from dating apps for going on for several years.
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 Years. Women have came forward back as far as like 2018 for this. Yeah.
Okay. So you're dating this guy who recommends that you guys put on the app so you guys can follow each other around.
Yeah. And his son's on there. Like it's a family app. Just crazy. His location off when he's supposed to be flying back home to Mississippi. So instantly I'm like,
So he turns it off. Can you walk me through what you were feeling when it first happened? Like when he first turns it off, are you like, well, maybe the app disconnected, maybe the bill didn't get paid? Like what is your first thought?
my first thought was, oh my God, he is about crazy things in our relationship. I felt like my stomach just fell out, shock. And I was very, very upset calling him. I immediately blocked it and I just started digging and found out about his double life.
So when you say you were digging, okay, so your stomach hits, you get that woman's intuition, you're
Yeah.
like something's wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So you're like, something's
So,
wrong, and now you start digging. Tell me what that looks like for you. Like, did you
okay,
like go to his friends,
yeah.
family? Like, what?
Okay, so what I did was the address on his license is not where he was. He was currently staying in this house that was belonged to his grandfather. His sick elderly father lived in together now. And the whole reason he was staying is his dad was sick and he needs help. He needs like a caretaker. So Chris was always kind of like Chris. And I thought that was strange. You know, like here he gives me a picture of his license, old house, but this one's kind of like he doesn't really want me to know. So we're gonna sell this home and split the money. So after he turned his, I started looking up for sale ads in Mississippi, and this house is a bigger. I immediately find the for sale ad. I look up the owner, and it belongs to a husband and wife. When I look at the for sale ad, it's the pictures in there are not his. It's somebody else's family. So I find the woman on Facebook page, and oh my God, that's his house. That's the Christmas tree. That's the color. That's his house. That she's wearing his jacket. So I immediately called. He told me everything.
So when you say everything, what is everything?
So everything is that she met him actually a year and a half ago. He moved in the beginning of January 20. After a few months of being together, he tells her that he flies to work while he's in Texas working for he's actually at my pretending to be this dream man that we're going to get married and be together forever. So she proceeds to tell me he has no job. The car tends to have her. The cell phone he has was bought and paid for by Isabel every month. He was supposed to pay her back for the phone. He never did. No relationship. He comes up with these crazy stories to borrow money. Doesn't pay. And he comes to Texas for work, aka my house in Florida. Turns his phone off. He'll change his phone number. She can only contact him through Snapchat. And then I found out
So your
that he had.
house is work. Wow. Oh, what a job.
Yeah,
Huh?
I know.
Okay, so
And
your
he
house is work.
pretended my house is work, correct. He had pretended to have this
You can continue.
inheritance. So he pretends to have this inheritance from his grandfather, which Corley lives in Mississippi. So that's why he says he doesn't have to work on a regular basis. He would always come down with money. He would help pay for groceries, gas, buy nice presents. Some reason to question him that he was jobless, that he didn't have any money. Yeah, totally manipulated the entire situation.
So bear with me here, right? Because your story involves a lot of traveling, and
Yeah,
where is he getting the money to do this?
I don't
Like,
know, from her.
he's taking flights, he's going, so he's just making things up and like almost making a living or a career out of this.
That is his full time. This manipulates women from dating apps. So once Becky told me, I call his dad immediately because he always has his mom's number, and I've talked to his mom on FaceTime. I FaceTime with his dad several occasions. He never gave me his dad's number, so I thought that was strange. So I ended up calling his dad, telling him what's going on. His dad knew about Becky the entire time. The couch me on was Becky's couch. That's not his dad's house. So like his entire about this double life, and not one person told me. Not one.
So basically, you're telling me that even his family's down with this?
The mom knew, the older sister knows, and the little brother. And they all were aware of me. We knew that we were supposed to get married. The mom knew I was recently found out I was pregnant. I FaceTime with the dad more than anybody, even the grandmothers, the elderly grandmothers. No one ever.
That is honestly unbelievable.
I know, it's like, it's so heartbreaking. Like,
It must see. I mean, yeah, I can see your face, and like honestly, just hearing
yeah,
that is like it's gaslighting 1,000, right? Because
yeah,
everyone else is like acting like there's absolutely nothing going on here.
yeah, nothing at all. Like, everything's fine.
So, you said that you expecting a child from this man?
Because I ended up taking the abortion pills. I just didn't think it was right to be connected forever. And when I found out how far along I found out that I was actually pregnant when I had a CAT scan with contrast. So I was like, the universe is just pointing to everything negative, like possible childhood cancer. And now, this guy's cheating and lying. So I just tried to make an educated decision because I was just more concerned about being pregnant. The baby has birth defects and it's more traumatic for me. So
Wow. Um, First of all, I can't even imagine having to be in a position to have to make that decision. Um, and that's yours alone. So I don't want to touch on that. Just understand if you need any
yeah,
support or anything, please DM me and I'll make sure you get
yeah.
that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is yeah, this is really crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that now not just, the lives of the people involved in the situation, but you know, the child that could have been, and your child was with him as well, right? And I saw the videos
Yeah.
where they're actively engaging and
Oh yeah.
is being playful and everything. And obviously, I know it's not 9 years, but it's still a bonds, bonds that are created there, and it's all fake.
Yeah.
So, um, in your discovery of this, um,
Mm-hmm.
at some point there was an interaction right between you and the woman. She tells you everything, but there's other women.
Correct.
So how do we get there? Like, what happened, and how were you able to find these women who it seems like all of America has dated this man
Yeah. So
at this point?
once I found out, I contacted his father. He was pretty open with me, and he told me, "Hey, this is what Chris does. He did this to a 54-year-old, and she gave him thousands of dollars. Me and asked me for the money back." And I'm like, this is just unbelievable. Remorse from him. I could tell that this was going. He totally minimized the situation. He wanted to come back and continue our relationship. Like, so since he
Continue the
was,
relationship.
yeah, oh yeah, he wanted to. So this is the crazy part is when I told you he turned his location off. Mississippi, like he said, he was staying in my city, but me behind my back, just for a few days, to pretend like he was in Mississippi. That was his real plan. So when I found that out, I did not let him come back. On top of finding out about his double life, so he was stuck in my city with nowhere to go. So he was bouncing around white woman to older white woman for a place to stay. in my back to Mississippi, or afford to fly back rather.
Wow. Wow. It's like there's no end to this story.
There's no,
Like,
I'm making, yeah.
so what so you leave, okay, so he leaves your house and he's just hanging out in Mississippi.
No,
In
he
some
said
place.
he was,
I mean, no,
yeah,
I'm
he
sorry. In
said he was
Florida, trying to
close
get
by to
away
my
back.
residence.
So where
Somebody
was
else.
he? How did you find out where he was?
I found out because there was a on, so that's the other thing. It's like he had double Facebooks, double Snapchats, double iCloud. Through his phone, I would never find anything because he wasn't logged into those other accounts. See anything? Never hear anything. Could really never catch him cheating. So I found out about the double Facebooks from the older woman in Mississippi. She starts sending of what he's posting, and he started posting pictures that he's still in Florida. Then that he has a Bumble. So then I see his Bumble location. So that's 7 miles away from me in my city when he's pretending to be in Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is something else.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is like, I really don't have a name for him. Like, I just feel like, I mean, I named him the Bumble Bandit because he's on Bumble, but it's like, just how in depth. Like, this is it's almost professional. Like,
It is.
it's almost a professional like level thing. And
Oh,
you know, I have a question. Hold on. Let's
yeah.
see. What was a red flag that you felt you overlooked before the location was shut off?
Okay, so a deck that I overlooked was in the beginning, he about a DM from Instagram, screenshots of his Instagram to prove he wasn't doing anything. And so he sent me one 2 weeks later. This is willingly. I don't even ask him. He just sends it. He sends another. There was one message that was there from a woman that wasn't in the, so it was obviously erased. And I'm assuming it's because he replied to it. And that was the first red flag. And then the second one was that he told me that he alcohol, which that's something that's important to me. And when we met in real life, frequently than what he said, which he used the excuse of being nervous. Things that I wish I would have because I just knew, I felt something was off at that point. I told myself they're minimal. Everything else is greater. Just let it go.
Okay. So you saw that, you already knew that there was some sort of dishonesty or something not quite right.
Correct.
And then is that the last red flag you had up until the location being shut off?
An even greater one.
Like
when
you said,
after
okay.
this one's the big one. We were a few months to being involved with each other after that little mishap with the lies. I didn't date anybody for 2 years after my engagement ended, and one person and not date around. So I was really giving him my all. Find out he told me he has no children, which that's what he has on his Bumble page. So I'm looking at his mom's Facebook and I see a girl. He resembles him. So I contact him immediately. This is when he was to be. And he admits to having children that he hid from me. Small town in Mississippi. He was terrified to tell me because he didn't think a woman like me would talk to him or kids.
Wow. Interesting.
That was a big one. Yeah.
So do we know how many kids he actually has?
We don't, because the once I contacted and his dad knew I was pregnant, he said, well, do you know about the other ones? And I said, what other ones? He's like, well, he's got one over here, one over there. So he mentioned 3 additional mothers of children. And when he realized that he said, oh, you don't know? Well, he's going to have to tell you. And completely reversed me. So I have no idea what the true number is.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, obviously they're children, and I mean, they're innocent in this, of course, but it's just interesting to hear that he's kind of going around everywhere from state to state,
Yes.
potentially not being around for long periods of time.
That's a major. I would have known that he had children in the beginning. It would have been a no for me because I think it's a wrong personal opinion. But once I found out, I was already in love with him. So obviously reacted aggressively to this news of deceit, and I didn't speak to him at all. And he did everything he could, to regain trust in our relationship. Like he started making fake pages on me, would call private, say everything I wanted to hear to make it right. So then, I developed a relationship with his kids through FaceTime. Since I live, I just regretfully now I moved forward with beautiful words.
Wow. So, obviously, this person was creating the illusion and the feelings of love.
Correct.
And as a woman, as a person, I can relate to, wanting and wanting to experience that. So, do you feel like his MO is pretty much emotionally attach himself and get you to be attached by feeding this whole love story? And then it's really to just string you along. So now, and I have to ask you an uncomfortable question, and you answer it how you see fit. But based on the premise of the story and his MO, were you also financing him? Like, did you end up obviously not in a way where you knew what he was doing, but did he ever start asking you for money, telling you that he had problems, paying for things? I'm assuming based on this, he's not looking for women who don't have some money. So he's looking for women who have, it seems to me, acquired some degree of a lifestyle for themselves.
Right.
And then tries to get you to.
Yeah. So I have acquired a nice financially stable, and he never asked me for money until ending to fly back to Mississippi right before New Year's. He asked me for $2,500 to help purchase a vehicle because the vehicle he owned was here visiting me, and the car had no liability on it. And I said, you should be more responsible to only have liability on your vehicle. Giving you $2,500. This just seems wrong to me. And he was like, it'll be your car, so I'm going to pay you back. And I just said, no, that's not something very upset with me. As far as other money goes, I think throughout our relationship, around $900 or so, and it was small. That his debit card didn't work, and he was going to the airport. So I'm like, oh, here you have money in your pocket. It was small relationship stuff, but the one time that he did ask for $2,500, which I didn't give him. But when he after he left, I noticed he took 3 pairs of my Gucci sunglasses, a bottle of pain pills.
So he did rob you. So
Yeah, come here, princess.
your belongings. No, you're fine.
Yeah. Come here, baby.
Do you need to respond? That's okay. Yo, please take a moment. Take a moment.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So, in this particular situation, Anna was in love, and
Mickey.
this person had come into the situation and was doing all the right things and saying the right things, and we like to always talk about women's intuition, but in this case, she knew that something was wrong. Certain little things, little flags, and the rest of what she's describing is sort of like normal relationship situations. You have someone who's trying to do the right thing or show you that things are right, but at the end of the day, um, you do have to trust your gut. And I love to hear that in the end, ultimately, she realized that an ask of that amount coming out of nowhere was a little strange. Um, and the thing about it is, I think sometimes we'll say to ourselves, we're above this, or this wouldn't happen to me. But I think that when someone is doing a really really amazing job and in other areas can back some of their stuff up, it could be really easy to fall um, victim to someone not being who they say they are. And I just hope that those who are watching, who are on these apps, who are dating people, just pay attention to the flags. Definitely check them out, see who they are on social media, see if there's multiple profiles. Um, in my midst of dating, I've encountered some very unsavory characters, as well as some people who were misleading me as to whether or not they were single. So, or trying to anyway, because yeah, we find out. Um, Thank you, Anna. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
That's okay. Yes, and I know you're a mom, so that's fine. Let me see here.
So yeah. So he, I'm sure if I would have wanted to take it to make it look like he had money with the next woman, that he would. That's like the manipulation. He takes from one and shows the other. So you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he basically, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme of women. Like
Yeah, it really is.
He like takes from this one to finance the beginning of his relationship with that one.
Believe what I'm telling you.
It's crazy.
So he does. It's outrageous. Okay, so what he does is, I just on his life, he said, like, a lot of stuff and quite.
I'm sorry, I feel like you're breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
He said he was the owner of the home on his license. So I was finding the records to who owned the home. So in order for him to prove, he goes there, sends me videos that he's, working on the house, getting it ready for sale, FaceTimes. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he really does. I got just off this time. So I believe him. After talking to Zippy, she says that's not the case. That was his old rental that he lived in before. And she was actually in the car with him the day he went there, drove her car with her to his old rental house, and he broke inside. He took a piece of glass out of the door
Stop.
to
Stop.
He did. And she was like, when he came back, she's like, what the hell are you? You can't break in there. And she saw him on the phone making videos. So he's like, oh, I tried to get it. What he was actually doing in there, FaceTiming me, making pretend videos, working on it, fixing it up to sell. That's the level of manipulation to cover his life.
This is a full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, and then
he would risk getting arrested for breaking and entering.
Just to cover his lie. Like, who cares if you own a home? A lot of people don't. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
I know. So even if you're a woman and your gut's like telling you something's off at what he does, he proves you wrong. And then like you stop trusting your intuition because they say otherwise every time. So it's
because
so
he's
hard
always
to like
proving you. Wow.
Yeah, he's been doing it for so long. He knows. He just knows exactly what to do.
Now, Anna, when you posted publicly, you had other women who were victims of this guy's shenanigans come forward.
Yeah.
How many women would you say total has been now?
Spanning across the U.S. From minimal interactions, just seeing different states across the U.S. to actually having conversations where they've heard I have, to women that have actually met him and he lately as well. As far as a woman recently commented, she met him when she was 19. They exchanged numbers. He kept calling her over. A woman that he was with in the hotel says that they're actually in a relationship. So he's cheating years ago with some older white woman trying to talk to a 19-year-old girl in a hotel in Arkansas. I mean, it goes from New York everywhere. Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, I'm sorry. Yeah, everywhere.
I honestly, I feel like you could build a map, like, of where. I don't understand. Yeah. So
I know.
So okay. So the thing that I want to try to focus on, because this story just gets more and more like, it's like levels. It unfolds. It's literally like listening to a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, it's so complicated. I know it's like hard to understand with how many, like, it's never ending. Never ending.
Because yeah, exactly. And it's like, where is he now? Like, I feel like, where in the world is the Bumble Bandit? Like, where is he right now? And why like, is this a thing? And I think the deeper question isn't even why he does it, right? The bigger question now is, if he is asking these women for this type of help, if they're finding out that he's cheating, what's up with that? Like the lady who you said is the main person, I guess, that he lives with, now that she knows, has she moved on? Like,
yeah. So that's a whole nother story. So he had his birthday here, which is August 30th, and all the important holidays. He was saying that he's here working in Florida. I mean, in times a receipt that he was in Florida buying a woman's dress at H&M. So she starts getting suspicious. So a month or two later, she has a friend who's still on his Facebook at this point while he's at my house. So he posts a picture of him and I for Thanksgiving that I knew nothing of. And so the picture gets sent to this older woman in Mississippi, like, my suspicions are confirmed. You're cheating. She kicked him out. He flew to my house 4 days later, and I had no idea that any of this was going on. So he's technically homeless. She's back here at my house. I found out about his double life. So now he just bounces from woman to woman, place to place, state to state, wherever he can stay, apparently. That's what he says himself. Whatever he has to for a place to stay.
He said that to you?
Word for word. There have been 2 occasions, I'd say, since I found out where I've been, because I found out very hurtful information. And I obviously wanted to discuss that. Like, he's just doing and saying whatever he has to for a place to stay. I'm like, why don't you get a job? Stay single if you want to date around. What is the problem?
It doesn't seem like he wants to date around. It sounds like he wants to make dating his full-time job.
It's so bizarre. Like, why commit to a relationship when you're not? He had dating apps behind my back our entire relationship. Like, there's women, that had matched with him, talked to him while I was pregnant. I had no idea on vacation in Orlando. He's matching with women, talking with them. And what he would do is, I was like, if he's going to get the car for valet or something like that, he's out there, taking a little bit than he should, because he's checking the dating apps, calling women, and messaging them. Yeah. Any
this
little
is a
opportunity
full-time job for this man.
Yeah.
So, and what's crazy is that, you're not the only person who has said that. There's guys out here who are out there, like, playing girls, but this is like, I feel like what he's doing is like next level. It's
like, why?
I just can't understand it.
I mean,
yeah.
And every woman has heard this. Nothing's true. Nothing on his dating profiles. He has a fake, not even his real name, not the real age. Like, basically on both profiles, real. It's all fake.
I gotta see that.
But
like,
he wants
is he on there now?
He is. He has that he wants a serious relationship on there. So how do you say your page when nothing about you is real? Fake age, fake name on Tinder. And so far, told me they've seen him on. It's been Tinder, it's been Hinge, it's been Bumble, it's been plenty of app called BLK.
Okay, let me see here. Bumble. Oh my God. And what does he say? Like, what's first of all, what's the guy's name? Like, let's put that out there.
Yeah. The guy's name is Chris.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name's Chris, but he also goes by Corey.
His name is Chris. He also goes by Corey.
And he uses fake.
Let's see if I can do this. Is this him above you right now?
A screenshot of a location that he's currently looking on his Bumble. In that picture, sunglasses that he stole from my car.
Wow. So he's wearing your glasses right now in this picture.
Yeah, those are my glasses in my car. Yeah, I didn't even know. And when I found out
that he put on.
Yeah, that's wearing for Thanksgiving.
Wow. Amazing. And then I'm gonna put up another photo, if that's okay, of the Christmas photo.
Yeah,
because this one I just can't. Every time I see this photo, I'm like in awe. Here's a photo, guys, of them three. So this is Anna, Anna's daughter, and Chris, we'll refer to him as, matching pajamas.
which was his
What kind?
idea.
And this adorable dog. What kind of dog is this? My mother wanted to
That's
know.
a Pomeranian named Mickey. So actually, Chris
And Mickey.
and I drove all the way. We drove all the way to Boca to get him for my daughter for her Christmas present as a family puppy for Christmas. While he's living a double life and lying about everything.
Does this even look like a? I mean, this is like a family. It doesn't look like anyone I would expect living a double life. Wow, just wow. I can't, like, even every time I look at that picture, I just get upset that you had to go through that. Huh. All right, I'm gonna put that. Let me go and see what we have here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now that this has happened, right? And you've mentioned that you were together with him, excuse me, speaking with him since then. Um, and you obviously you admitted and were vulnerable enough to share with us that you were in fact in love with this guy.
Yeah.
Do you have the zero doubts in your mind? You absolutely know that this man does not care, right? Like this
care.
isn't. We're not going to see you with him in a year, in some other photo, right? Like this is.
The hard
sure.
part. Well, that's the hard part about this. Is like when I found out about in Mississippi, she wanted to compare stories. Hold on, baby. She wanted to compare. Did he do this with you, or did he do that? And I felt like he really did love me. He's crazy. He's a narcissist. He has issues. He needs medication, or be like, I don't know, something, But he did love me. And then just like hearing, attempting to cheat with all the dating apps he had, all the levels of deceit he had, pregnant with a baby that he's been asking for our entire relationship. I'm just like, there is capable of love. Like that is not love. Absolutely not.
I agree with you. Um, Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and I have no ability to diagnose people.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to use the term narcissist, but I will say that, I mean, honestly, bordering on sociopath is what I see. But
I've heard that a lot.
like, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not a medical professional. So for the sake of this episode, I'm not going to, use those terms, but I will say that there was a lot of things that you're saying that are very on cue for a person who is a narcissist and so like a sociopath. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Like at the end of the
a lot
day.
of yeah, and I'll tell you like okay, hold on. Like really confirms that is like he changes to whatever woman he's with. Like, I prefer when he's here all music listens to mainly women. She's like, he never listens to country. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, are we talking about the same? Really? Like, he just pretends.
So he's basically molding himself to whomever he's with.
Country brain. He told me he had horses. He lived on
Horses.
videos and pictures, all this stuff of him playing with his horses to this older woman's house. And she on 10 acres. Not his farm. Just like that. That's your person.
Yeah, that is, it's giving me borderline personality disorder. It's giving me a lot of things. Um, but more of the story though is I'm really sorry that you basically got tricked because he just wanted to gain from you, and don't get me wrong, I am notorious for saying a fair exchange is no robbery, but in this particular case, you were being grossly misled. And not only was he also like living a completely double life, based on what you said, it seems like he was living multiple lives. We don't even know the final number. I mean, how many people think he's away as, in the military? How many people think he's a businessman on travel? Like, we don't, it seems like you have this guy, you meet him. I mean, don't get me wrong. In this picture, he looks like or some random Lewis guy from New York. Like he has a very everyday look. There's nothing that would necessarily say, "Oh, this person is a fraud," right? It's just he's got a everyday kind of look, and so I can understand, why he does this. Excuse me, why people are like, oh, okay, trusting, because he doesn't really stand out I mean, he's not like an unattractive man, but he doesn't stand out in any really crazy, weird, creepy kind of way, right?
Right.
So,
And he makes that intimate connection with his family, with my family. He just seems like a very, very genuine, kind person.
right. Wow. And so you've come out with this publicly a couple of places. Um, as far as social media is concerned, I understand that you were recently on another show. Um, has he reached out to you since you've been on these shows?
Yeah, the first show, he was like his dad and mom were involved, but they had this story along with him. Like, I think it's important to hear why it's going on. And excuse me, he just every other day or so, like he tries to contact, and like he's constantly begging for me to take this post down. Where he tries to manipulate me and say, "Oh, people are talking bad about you. You need to delete. Oh, people make fun of you. You need to delete it. Oh, it doesn't bother me. Delete it." Manipulative way that he can
Right.
to try to make this disappear.
Well, I mean, it's hurting his business. It sounds like you got with this guy. And for those who are tuning in, thank you for watching. You can leave any comments or questions below. I'm gonna pass them on to Anna, so we can answer any of your questions. Definitely drop me a comment just to let me know that you were here. I appreciate your viewership. We're here talking today with Anna. Anna started out falling in love with this guy who's pictured above her. Um, and he seemed like a good guy and has basically molded into the perfect man for her. She met him on a social media dating app, right? And
Yeah.
he ended up living a double life, having a woman in Mississippi who he lived with and who was actually the financer for his life and lifestyle. That's 9 months you guys were together, right?
Yeah, almost 10 months.
Almost 10
Different
months
diamond
you guys
rings.
spent.
Yeah.
Diamond
Yeah, to prove
rings.
his commitment or who they originally belonged to. He said that they
Oh my
belonged to
God,
his
wait.
aunt that passed away.
So he was potentially stealing other women's rings and giving them to you.
I have no idea where they're from.
Potentially. No idea where they're from.
Yeah, we don't
Are they
know.
real? Are they real?
I mean, I never had them tested, but I will tell you at one point when I did, Chris was sending me this video of this diamond bracelet in a big safe, and he was, trying to use the bracelet as a way to get me to talk to him. But I'm not interested in the bracelet. Like, you can keep it. he was like, well, you can have it, but you have to sign it. If we break up, you return it because it's so valuable. And it also belonged to my aunt that passed away. It's part. So once I found out about the woman in Mississippi, oh, guess what? That's her safe. That's hers, not even real. More manipulation.
Wow. So he was promising you someone else's bracelet, and you were basically he was going to give it back, so he wouldn't be found to be a thief.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Anna. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So, Anna, I told you that I'm also in the dating world, and I have this show
Yes.
that I usually come on. I do it on one day. The one day it's for love and relationships and stuff like that. Then I have one more centered around business. But because people do watch the one obviously centered around relationships, what could you tell us that you learned from this, and how can women who are on these apps right now, what do you think would be their best bet moving forward?
I mean, I would obviously start with the background check, but in this situation helped because you can't, a background check isn't going to show living with a woman and that they're scamming on dating apps. And I think trust your intuition would be the biggest thing, because that's the thing that I just think even if you see proof of what you're not trusting, even if your intuition says it's still wrong, you just need to go with that. Because Chris proved my intuition wrong so many times, with his fake proof that he would show me. And if I wouldn't have been so deeply involved. So just trust your intuition. That's such a good con man. It's really so difficult. If you would have never turned his location off, we'd still be in this. And so, another child could have been made and involved. Let's don't know. So just trust your intuition is the main thing.
Yeah, so you're basically saying hey, had I not realized that something was going on when he turned the location off, I might, I mean, and also the other things that you said kind of prevented you from moving forward. You could have been baby mom, if you will, number we don't know.
His plan to work on making another child. He was. Let's go.
Well, I saw that in the comments. This man is trying to have. He's trying. He's like the broke Nick Cannon. He's trying to get women pregnant. It's I honestly I just never. I mean, there's this is incredible.
Did you see the screenshot? That woman in Memphis, she let me know that her best friend, they were dating early 2022. They were together. She got pregnant, found out, terminated the pregnancy, stopped talking to him. And while that was going on, there were women in Mississippi too, doing the same exact thing he did to me. So just a few months later, he's, picking a new victim.
This guy's a regular, I just can't believe he's like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I feel like he's this crazy Casanova who's just out here wooing the women. And you, like you said, he's molding his personality to every girl.
Perfect match.
So he's a perfect match. Wow.
Yeah. So when I made this post initially, when he was still stuck in my area, a woman, she needed to talk to me right away. Well, this woman was an older white woman in my business. He was currently staying in the hotel that she was paying for. and they got she was married, and she was married. I was talking to number while I'm pregnant, while he's here rubbing my belly, excited about our baby. She said that they finally met recently. So this is like the first week in January. He's staying there, lied to her about his entire life. He told her the same fake story. And she felt so comfortable and connected to him so quickly that she did.
And she's married.
Yes. And I was like, you're so lucky that you found me because husband and ruined your family, all for this guy that has no interest in being a decent human being at all. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that's, because he has that ability to sort of shapeshift and be a chameleon, he's going to, I mean, in this case, obviously she's married, like we'll leave that alone. But my point is that he's able to shapeshift into pretty much whatever someone wants him to be. And I kind of can understand that, myself, because I have been in situations where it did feel like that person was sort of, okay, everything I want them to be, but this seems to be just on a whole different level. And like I said, I'm so sorry that you and your daughter had to be exposed to someone who was so blatantly misleading. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay, someone is trying to ask a question. So what is your goal now? What is the what's the outlook? What are you trying to do now? This
Now
link
is
here.
to basically warn as many women as possible so they themselves, as they see fit, because he's clearly not stopping her. He's on the dating apps. All of his information is still fake across the US still. And since there's no controlling what he does, I obviously want women to know what's going on, because I can know knowing that this is happening and not letting somebody know. So that's safe.
So basically, you are on a mission to make sure that other women do not fall into the hands of the Bumble Bandit, and
Yeah, basically.
it doesn't turn someone else's life upside down.
Yeah, and their
Now,
child's life, it's the worst part of all this.
right, exactly, because he was bonding or pretending to bond with your daughter, and even if I'm not mistaken, you told me he still asked about her, right?
Yeah, he does. Wow, him having another woman in like the same life that we live, basically 2022 before we met. He, like I told you, he tries to contact me on a regular. When he's calling, I finally took the call because I usually ignore it for obvious reasons. About it, like, how could this be true? How could you just do this with me? How could I not know about this woman? It's all a lie.
Right.
Nothing's true. Like, everybody is lying about him. It's all fabricated. And he, child, he calls her his daughter. He tries to talk to her to say, he's coming back. He's going to be here soon. He wants to be Valentine's. Like, nothing happened.
He wants to be Valentine's.
Oh, yeah. He tells me
This guy is he is literally the opposite of a Valentine. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants that.
He says everything people are saying, it's not true. All these hundreds of women that recognize it's not true. Just let him come back. Let's be a family. That for me is real. He
Let's be a
loves
family.
my daughter. Like, yeah, I already bonded him. I don't want somebody else.
What?
meeting her.
This guy's amazing. You know,
It's so
he has
bad. Like,
a big pair of yeah. How can you even do that? And does he think that as much effort as you've put into protecting other people from him, that you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, hi, yeah, let's just have our happy little family? Why would you even trust him around your daughter?
exactly. I feel like that's a mental manipulation. Like, swindle me back in so that way, hey, so now my post is invalid. So now he's the good guy and I'm the bad guy. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like once a person has done this, like this wasn't like uh, with all due respect, this isn't normal. I don't want to say that there's normal cheating, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this isn't a, oh, I messed up. I'm horribly remorseful. Let's move on. You're literally making being a player some sort of full-time job. And
Yeah.
how could you go back to that? Yeah. I can
That's
understand your
exactly.
frustration.
Yeah. That's exactly what I told him. I'm like, you could have, hey, look, I've been like living wrong. I've been living with a woman and I don't want to date around. I really was in love with him, who I thought he was, worked through things. But like knowing that you're cheating on me while I'm pregnant, you have dating apps the entire time when you're for what you require from me. And then after this, there's no remorse. It's like freaking women traveling all over, trying to slander me because I made a post, what you've been doing to women. It's just wrong. Like, there needs to be, so I'm like, all your actions point to you are this person. Like, you prove it. So why would I believe anything you say?
Right. And did we last have a the Bumble Bandit was last seen where? At a restaurant
He was
eating
last seen,
at a
well, he
seafood
was,
table.
yeah, yeah, a man took a video showing that was the next day. So the married woman, so then he's scrambling because he needs a place to go. He has no place to go. So he contacts somebody else, or white lady, on the dating apps, and somehow he swindles her. I'm sure he's like, I'm in town, uncle, I'm here. Like, let's meet up. Let me stay with you. I want to see you. You know. So then he was at that restaurant. The gentleman said that the woman paid. They split one. He paid for it. And that was a conversation that I had with him where he said, me, I'm with her. I needed a place to go. I say whatever I have to say. So I have a place to stay. So those are words. So all the affection, you think he cares about you, you think he loves you, it's not. It's for a place to stay.
What's interesting is that I have this saying that says sometimes you meet your destiny on the path you took to avoid it. And I had this podcast before called Almost Bougie. It's actually still up on if you want to find something that's actually pretty entertaining. It's a feature that I have called The Hobosexual. And the Hobosexual episode was me talking about men who basically fall in love with whoever has a place for them to stay. Um, Now, of course, you know, when I was making the video, I was referring to men who actually get into serious long-term relationships with that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I guess they're fully attracted to them or not. But this guy here, I mean, I it's almost no rhyme or reason. Like, why does he keep going backwards? Does he go back to Mississippi? Is everybody supposed to be a placeholder? Is there a set number that he requires to sustain? Like, that's a lot.
Like
And
the older woman in Mississippi said that he has asked to be a roommate because I'm sure he's having hard, place with the post going viral on TikTok and Facebook. I know he's been having trouble. He has many women, so who knows
because now
where he's
everybody
staying
knows
at
who
this
this guy
point.
is.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people know who he is.
And the guy who sent in the video about him being at seat to table, I mean, well, I just said it, but it's a man who noticed him
Yeah, a man
from the
who saw
post.
my
This guy
post.
is like literally, and then he said that if I'm not mistaken, please quote correct me if I'm wrong. I recall that that gentleman who posted that said that they only ordered one plate and they
And they
split the
shared it.
meal and she paid for the bill.
She paid, correct.
Wow,
So I'm sure what he
incredible.
says is, oh,
Yeah.
I'm in town. My car, he'll make up whatever excuse. That sounds believable. It correlates with what he's saying. So you're like, it's like, who hasn't traveled out of town and they cut your card off or you lose it? You know?
That actually happened to me, so I can definitely say that
Me
does
as
happen.
well. Yeah. I know. So see?
So that's how he gets in. I just flew in, my card declined. Wow. So I could see why he's pretty upset at you because you are pretty much single-handedly cutting off his places to stay,
Mm-hmm.
except for Mississippi, right?
Yeah, his family's there. That's where he's originally from. So
And
possibly
his
some.
family is down, not down with it. Like I don't want to make it sound like they're the ones doing it, but they're pretty much like, hey, that's like that's our uncle's Tom. Like it's all right.
Yeah. His
Wow.
sister and some other family members that I've never met. Oh, they're very trying to like minimize his and I relationship. Like they can see all the proof, defend it, and I'm like, this is exactly what's wrong. Like I don't know if it's a genetic issue because I've never heard any enabler to bad behavior. I have 3 brothers, and if any one of them did that, I would let their significant. This is just unacceptable. So for an entire family to just turn a blind eye, think that what he's doing is fine, is just I've never seen unreal.
Right. Yeah, it's like there's no accountability for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, obviously it's not them that are out here doing this to people, but I can tell you right now, I love my family too. I'm not gonna I would not sit here and say, oh yeah, my brother's a great guy out here doing
Right.
this to people. I couldn't do that. I couldn't bold face lie like that. That being said, we are hoping to you're hoping here to reach more people and share your story. Your story sounds straight up like a movie. um I think that the fact that you've already done this far and people are recognizing him everywhere, it is going to get harder and harder for him to find a place to stay. um and that being said, Anna, are you concerned that if he ends up getting locked out of multiple people's homes, like, are you concerned with whether his, like, contact with you would increase? Are you afraid? Is there, are you worried at all?
The thing I definitely, because I feel like any type of goes left, there's a possibility for danger. But is the fact that I do live in Florida, which is pretty far away from Mississippi, going viral and living in Florida. I know primarily well known here, so I feel like my area is not going to be a major target for him. North, mainly Oklahoma, now Texas, Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, pretty much at ease. Like he won't be in my area anytime soon. He's blocked on it. So,
Right.
I can pretty much avoid him at all costs.
Yeah, I definitely can understand that. And you said Oklahoma, New York, New Jersey. This guy has been everywhere. Wow.
Yep, he just sets his app location wherever he'll shop around, see if anybody's biting on his and then if not, he'll switch and try out there. And I've even seen messages where he's asked women to plane tickets to fly to see them. Yeah.
Wow. And some people are paying it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he always, saying how much he spent to fly to Florida, but when I looked, $148. So it's not super expensive when you book a house. So I'm sure, a woman is gonna listen to his sweet nothing. His card isn't working. Let me spend this $148 or $200. It's not a chance.
Wow. Yeah, ladies, you gotta be careful out there. There is a lot of shenanigans. Um, and in this case, we have another case. There's a recently there was something, I guess, similar like the Tinder swindler, and now we have the Bumble bandit. And these cases are not unique. This is a case where Anna came forward, which a lot of women are afraid to come forward. They're embarrassed. Once again, just the fact that you wanted to come on and talk to me about it, I appreciate. And I wanted to get your idea of what could have been avoided, or what you think you could have did differently next time, not as a victim blame, but as a precautionary measure for other women, having you come on and share that with us, what you did. And because we have had some more viewers come on, um, top three things were just, again, right? Um, you went from sharing your location with him, with each other all the time, to him shutting it off. There were inconsistencies in his story about home ownership, right? And there was also messages between other women on Instagram where he was trying to prove it. It seems like he almost does too much, right? Because he was trying to prove to you how everything was good, and you're not even asking for it, and ended up
Right. And then
accidentally
there's
telling on himself.
a message that's missing that was there and undeleted. So that's definitely a red flag.
Right. Well, Anna, I have had you so long, and are a mom, so I want to let you go ahead and go back to being great. Um, so how can we follow you if we want to follow the story? I know you're going to be getting in contact with some of the other women who have dated him and such. So how can we get in touch with you?
Okay. For the original post, it has detailed information from several people. ANNA, and my last name is Zaluski, which is ZASKI. My post went viral on TikTok as well, and my name, the Organic Princess. And then Instagram is the same thing, the Organic. So everything has all the information. I've tried to spread, through every possible to let as many women know as I can.
Let's put that up there just in case. Not wrong one. There it is.
Yes,
Is that correct?
that's
Below
correct.
here, at the Organic Princess. And this is where you can see the post that went viral, and follow along with Anna. Anna, you're planning to bring other people together to continue to highlight this story. Um, this is how we can follow you. If you need to come back on this show because you have more information or update, I would gladly have you. On a note about the emotional attachment, I recommend that you consider seeking, counseling, because the gaslighting that you received can actually go on for years and years, even though to others it may seem like it was a short period of time. That's a long amount of time to be misled in this big of a way. Um, and if you need any help or support with any of the other things that you've had to endure because of this situation, I may not be able to help you directly, but I will certainly be able to get you the support and lead you into the right direction. Um, Thanks again for coming on here. Is there anything with the viewers before you leave?
I just want to thank you for to warn more women, and just follow your intuition. It's always right. Your eyes, follow your gut, because that's what will lead you in the right path.
I agree. Ignoring our intuition sometimes can put us in situations that we would normally not be in.
Right.
I myself have ignored my intuition before, and later on, sort of lived to regret it, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
and in this particular case, Anna's intuition was responding. Unfortunately, someone was going out of their way to prove her intuition's inaccurate, and it was all a lie. You ladies, be careful out there. Date carefully. Double check everything. Doubt everything, and let people earn their way into your life in a way that is substantial. And at the moment you see something wrong, look into it. If you see something, say something, right? As they say, um, and get to the bottom of it. I'm sorry that you had to go through that again, Anna. It has been a pleasure having you on, and I will have you on again. I hear you're going to be on another show, another podcast soon, and I will tap in and tune in with you there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Good night,
Bye.
guys.
Good night.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning into that show. Anna was amazing and was courageous to come on and speak to us and let us know the tea on what was happening in her situation. You're welcome to leave comments and or questions below. I may have Anna on, and she's also going to be featured on My Crazy Exes, a podcast by my friend Frankie James. And we will be able to take some of those questions and answer it either on a show here with us or on the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Um, I appreciate your love and support. You can always support my show by sending stars. Those are ways that basically let me know that this is content that you want to see. And once again, just be safe out there. The Bumble Bandit is on the loose. What state will he show up in next?